let me first of all, I just want to be forthright about this. I don't like women as a rule. So I don't. Can you imagine? It's just that we don't like women. That's it. Sorry if there was some confusion around that earlier. No, I think that the show has grown. We get questions like this fairly often, and I think that the show has evolved quite organically. There was a time, and I really do think the show is largely about the complex relationships between men. It's about a certain sort of bond. I mean, the fact that the two anchoring characters on the show are brothers, and it's about brotherhood, and I think that that expands to, you know, a sort of circle of masculine characters on the show. It's a show kind of about brotherhood, and I think that that evolved organically. There was not a time when anyone was like, let's get rid of the women. Because those guys are so much hotter. Let's just get those women off the screen so we can look at Dean and Sam more. But I think that season 3 is a good example. Like, the network said, hey guys, why is this so gender unbalanced? Let's put female characters in the show. And it just didn't, it wasn't the right fit. It wasn't what this story is about, and it just didn't fit. And I think that the characters that stick around on the show are the characters that fit into the overall story arc of the show. The writers on Supernatural are, as a group, very progressive, very, equality-minded people who I don't think have a bent against women. So I don't think that there's an agenda there. I think it's also interesting to note that the audience here is 98.35% female. So there is something in this organic evolution of the show that appeals to, the female audience. Like, there's something about watching this brotherhood of men that actually works for this audience. So I think it's okay. I think that there's of course room for, great female characters, but it's interesting also to note that, like, the female characters that have had lasting power on the show, and I think that that's kind of, there's a kind of interplay between the audience and the story. If the audience really responds to a character and really embraces a character and loves that character, it, I think, helps foster longevity for the character. And I think that might operate unconsciously for the writers, but they see, wow, everybody really loves this Rowena character or this Jodie character. And Charlie, but interesting to note also that, like, Charlie, she wasn't like a love interest to the boys. She was, in a way, she was a female, but she was also a part of the brotherhood in a way. And the same goes for Jodie. They're characters that fold into, I think, that bigger gender theme, weirdly. I've thought about this a lot, and because I had that question too. I was like, why aren't there more women on the show? What's wrong with this show? And I feel like I've come to that answer about it. So.